were just left without any adult supervision. I mean, we just did our thing.
We bumbled around America, playing raggedly. Some gigs I could get it together to sing, some I couldn't, upsetting people wherever we went.
Thank you very much to the person who threw this glass bottle at my head. Nearly killed me, but you missed again. Keep trying next week.
Do you feel you've influenced anybody?
I think I helped wipe out the 60s.
I don't want to belong to the glam people, alternative people, to any of it. I don't want to be a punk. I just want to be.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. It's Monday night in Soho, and I've just come out of a screening of Gimme Danger, which is a new documentary about Iggy Pop and the Stooges. It's a really great piece of work. It captures what it was about the Stooges that made them such an important band. And while I was watching it, I was thinking, oh, it's really good documentary filmmaking. You know, we've seen a lot of good music documentaries recently, and I started trying to compile in my head a sort of list of top 5 music documentaries. And I realised there were just too many, particularly if I was going back to like Don't Look Back or Gimme Shelter and all those films from the 60s and 70s that I really loved. So I said, okay, let's try and do a top 5 just in the 21st century. And then I realised there have probably been more great music documentaries released in the 21st century than there were in the 60s, 70s, 80s and 90s. I mean, if you just cast your mind back to things like Dig, the Ondi Timmer film, which is a wonderful depiction of how the Brian Jonestown massacre and the Dandy Warhols fell in and out with each other. There was The Devil and Daniel Johnston, which benefited from this extraordinary archive of recordings that Daniel Johnston himself made. There was 30th Century Man, a wonderful documentary about Scott Walker, whose sort of writing process and recording process has long been very mysterious, but that documentary really managed to get under the skin of Scott Walker. And then New York Doll, a film about Arthur Kane, which had a real melancholic, bittersweet ending, but was somehow a celebration. Now I started thinking of more recent films, like of course Searching for Sugar Man, which created such a stir. It was a story that I confess I hadn't heard about until I watched the film. In fact, when I was watching the film at the beginning, I started thinking, is this a hoax? Why is it that I haven't heard this story? Then there's The Punk Singer, which is a really, really great film about the Riot Girl movement and kind of putting a different perspective on some of those things that we all know so well. Recently, there was Janis, Little Girl Blue, a very good documentary about Janis Joplin. In fact, some of my favourite works, things that have slightly gone under the radar. There's a movie that I did a blog about many years ago, I think back in 2008, called Heavy Load, which is a really great documentary about a band called Heavy Load and the Stay Up Late campaign and how they managed to sort of overcome obstacles to get their music out. I thought it was so uplifting and so moving and so thrilling to watch. And around about the same time, there was Anvil, the story of Anvil, the film that seemed like a kind of real-life version of Spinal Tap that was genuinely heartbreaking and poignant and really sort of exuded a love of the music that those guys were playing, even though I have to say I'm not a huge fan of that kind of music. So my question to you is this. I'm genuinely struggling to nail this list down. Top 5 music documentaries in the 21st century. See if you can help me. But if Heavy Load isn't in there, I'm not interested.
It's just going to pieces.